7 goals. 8-3 on aggregate. Newcastle United, completely dismantled, but here is what most people are missing after tonight: the 7 goals are not the story. The story is what Hansi Flick changed at half-time and how Barcelona executed it so ruthlessly that Newcastle had absolutely no answer, so let us break it down properly. 3 specific tactical shifts. All of them deliberate. All of them surgical. Newcastle came to Camp Nou with a clear plan. Eddie Howe set up a compact 4-4-2 mid-block with tight man-to-man assignment across the midfield line. And in the first half, it largely worked. Barcelona had the ball, yes, but Newcastle's shape was disciplined enough to limit the real damage. Elanga twice punished them on the counter, and at 3-2, the tie was very much alive going into the break, but in those first 15 minutes of the second half, and I want you to pay close attention to this, Barcelona did something remarkable. They stopped circulating possession laterally. They became deliberately vertical. Flick's players began combining in tight triangles through the lines rather than around them. And they used off-ball movement in tandem, 2 runners triggering at precisely the same moment, so Newcastle's man-markers had to choose. Track one runner and leave the other. Or hold shape and let both go. The 4th goal, Fermín López at 51 minutes, was the perfect execution of exactly this. Raphinha's through ball found Fermin in the channel because Lewandowski's dummy run had pulled the centre-back 2 steps out of position. That is not a coincidence. That is a rehearsed pattern coming out of a half-time team talk. Number 2. Beating the offside trap with timing, not pace. Throughout the first half, Barcelona's forwards were running into Newcastle's high defensive line too early. The timing was off. Balls were being played into spaces where the line had already stepped up, and chances were being wasted. In the second half, that changed completely. Look at the 53rd minute. Lamine Yamal plays a diagonal pass into the channel, not a rocket, not a driven through ball, but a weighted, delayed delivery. And Fermín López, rather than making his run at the moment Yamal receives the ball, holds for half a second longer, then goes. He glides behind the line at the exact moment the ball is released. Newcastle's offside trap is beaten not by speed, but by timing. This is La Masia football at its most intelligent. You do not outrun the line. You outthink it. Number 3. Lewandowski's resurrection, and what actually caused it. Now this is the part that nobody is really talking about tonight, and it is arguably the most important subplot of the entire match. Lewandowski was poor in the first half. Wasteful. Heavy touches, poor movement, chances missed. The discourse around him all season has been the same. Is he finished? Is he too slow? And honestly, tonight's first half did nothing to silence those critics, but here is the tactical truth of his second half brace, and it has everything to do with one substitution, Newcastle's, not Barcelona's. Sandro Tonali came off injured at 55 minutes. Joe Willock replaced him. Within 5 minutes, Willock had picked up a yellow card for a reckless foul. That yellow card was catastrophic for Newcastle because it meant their central midfield had no aggression. No one could commit to a tackle. And without that physical midfield presence, the delivery pipeline into Lewandowski suddenly became clean and precise for the first time all night. The 56th minute header, that is not a great goal in isolation. Lewandowski is at the far post, Livramento doesn't jump, Ramsdale is flat-footed. But look at what enables that corner in the first place. It is sustained positional pressure built through midfield, only possible because Willock is restricted, because Tonali is in the dressing room. And because Pedri and Benol are now completely bossing the space between the lines, Lewandowski did not rediscover his form tonight. The conditions were engineered by Flick to make him look like he did. The final scoreline, 7-2, flatters nobody but Barcelona, because they absolutely deserved every single one of those goals. But the number on the board tells you nothing about how they got there. What earned Barcelona that result was tactical intelligence. Adjustments made at halftime. Patterns executed under pressure. And a squad fit enough to run harder in the second 45 than any team in Europe right now. Atletico Madrid or Tottenham await in the quarter-finals. And on this evidence, I would not fancy either of them. Barcelona are not just in form. Barcelona are dangerous. Visca el Barça.